Hi there, welcome back. Today we're looking at section 3.4, use slope to graph linear equations. I take 2 days to do this one just because it's kind of a lot to squeeze into one. So we'll take 2 days to do it. If you remember yesterday, we left off here with this graph, and I had said at the beginning of class that we were going to come back to where all I had was just those two graphs. So if you don't mind, go ahead and flip back and find that. Here it is. Okay, so these are some graphs that go along with a group exploration in our textbook. If you want to follow along, it is on page 142. So whether you have the hard copy and you want to flip to it, or if you have the online version and the ebook, you want to pop in there and flip to page 142, it's down at the bottom. You don't have to follow along in there. I'll go ahead and I'll read it out to you so you'll know what to do. Okay, so we have two graphs here. The first thing that I'm going to have you do is to, on the first one, sketch a graph of the line y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, and then on the second one, I'm going to have you sketch a graph of y equals negative 3x plus 5. And remember to do that. So far, what we've been doing is getting a table, picking 3 values, and plugging them in to get those y values, and then plotting those points and connecting them up with a line. Okay, so go ahead and take a minute to do that. Maybe I'm thinking about giving you the points I use, but I can't find that right here. So we could just make them up together. Yeah, I'm not finding it. We'll just make them up. Let's just pick negative 2, 0, and 3 for both of them. Okay, so you can choose your own or you can choose mine, and I'll work through it on the fly here. Okay, so hit pause, come back when you're ready. All right, so I have y equals 2x minus 1. I'm going to plug in that negative 2 for x minus 1. So I get a negative 4 minus 1 is a negative 5. If I plug in 0, I'll put that up here. I'm going to get a negative 1. And if I plug in 3, I get 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So if I go plot those guys, I'm at negative 2, negative 5, which is about here. I'm at 0, negative 1, and then at 3, 5. Oh, good. And they all ended up in a straight line, so I think I did it correctly. If you end up with a triangle, that's not good, okay? Sometimes you get triangles. That means that you made a little error. So don't end up with a triangle. Let me connect my dots. All right, and then we'll go ahead and do the other one. Oops. Okay, so I have negative 3 times negative 2 plus that 5. So negative 3, negative 2 is a positive 6 and 5. Oh, I'm going to be a little bit off my chart. That's okay. Plug in 0, and I'll get 5. And then I'll plug in 3. So I get a negative 9 plus a 5. So I'm looking at negative 4. So I have negative 2 and 11. So it's a little bit off the chart. That's okay. 0, 5, 3, negative 4. Looks like they're all in a line, which is good news. Okay, so far we were given two equations to graph, and we did that by picking three x values, running them through, getting our y's, plotting our points, connecting them up. Beautiful. Now, here's what we're going to do next. So we have our lines, and if you're following along, I'm kind of going back and forth between 1 and 2. So now what I'm doing is trying to phrase part B. So for part B, what I want you to do is to count from one dot to the next what you think the slope is. Okay, so remember that the slope is rise over run. So take just a minute, go ahead and find the slope for this one. Well, for both of them, right? Okay, so find the slope for the first one, slope for the second one. So again, that's rise over run. So from one dot to the next, go up or down, and then go over. Okay, so take just a minute, hit pause if you need to. All right, so from one dot to the next, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, up 4, over 2, which can be reduced down to 2 over 1 or just 2, right? For my second one, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it looks like, over 1, 2, and it looks like it's going down left to right, so that would be a -3. Okay. So now remember that yesterday when we were talking about slope, I kept telling you m, right? And so I've even written it here, m equals 2, m equals -3. Remember, we've also talked about y equals mx plus b, right? Okay, so watch this. This is one of my favorite parts. Are you watching? Okay. See how I have m? See how I have m? See where m is at in the formula? What is m in the first one? It's 2. This spot in the formula, what would m be? It's 2. Cool, right? Here in the second one, -3. Look at what's before that x. -3. So now you know if you get a problem that's in y equals mx plus b, you already know what the slope is. You don't have to graph it that way anymore with the whole table. Okay, so now for the rest of the class, it's not going to be too bad for the rest of today. It's just 3 examples. But what I would like you to do is we're going to go outside of the packet. So just grab a sheet of paper and come back when you're ready. All right, so this is now full on the 3.4 notes. Okay, so we have slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. How to graph? We're going to plot the y-intercept first, and then we're going to use the slope, now that we know that slope is m, the part before the x, to find the other points. Okay, so let's give it a try here. For example 1, I don't know which color to use. -2, okay, because you see this 2 here, right? The negative goes with it. So in y equals mx plus b, the b is your y-intercept. We already know what the m is the slope. We just found that out. So my y-intercept is -2. So the first thing I do is I figure out my y-intercept and I go and plot it. So it is at 0, -2. Okay. Second, I take my slope. What is my slope? My slope is 3. I can think of that as 3 over 1, right? Because it's rise over run. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to put my pencil right on the y-intercept. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3 over 1, put a dot. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, put a dot. Now, if I wanted to start by going down from that black dot from the intercept, could I do that? I could. I would go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Do I go to the left or to the right? I go to the left because in the end, remember, it's a positive slope. Just like how I read a sentence left to right, I'm going to read my graph left to right, and left to right, I can see that it's going uphill, okay? So we've got our dots. Well, let's go ahead and connect them up. And there we go. Isn't that cool? So we just graphed y equals 3x minus 2. So if I, like on the final or something, if it just says just plain old graph, you can graph this way. You can graph using the table. There's a couple other ways I'm going to show you how to graph over the next few days. It's totally up to you. But you do have to know each different type, because I might specifically say graph by picking the 3 x values to complete your table or something. Okay, so do know how to do it all the different ways. But this way is my personal favorite. I hope you like it too. And one other little thing I was going to mention here is that if you wanted to do a test point, you can. I'll just put that optional. This is just to make sure that your graph is correct, is that you can choose a point. So let's just write check a point. And for no particular reason, I'm going to choose this. It's at 2, 4. And what you could do is you could verify that that is a solution to our original y equals 3x minus 2 just by plugging in the 4 for y, the 2 for x. And then you would see that, yes, that is a solution. So we did graph it correctly. Okay, very cool. This one is 2 different parts. So first of all, you have to find the equation. I tell you that the slope is 3/4 and that the y-intercept is 0, -2. And then I want you to graph it. Okay, so slope is 3/4. Y-intercept is 0, -2. So first write your equation and then do the graph. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause, try both of those, come back when you're ready. Okay, to start, y equals mx plus b. M is 3/4, so I have y equals 3/4 x. And then plus b, well, b is -2, so just a -2. Graph it. I go to 0, -2. I start at that point. I go up 3/4. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3. There we go. Or if you prefer to go down, you can go down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect them up. Make sure you use that straight edge. Draw your arrows. Done. One more, okay? Graph y equals -2x minus 1. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. So what's my y-intercept? My y-intercept is at -1. So go to -1. That's my starting point. My slope is -2. If it helps, you can write -2/1 so that you see that rise over run. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to start by going up 1, 2 over 1. Should I go to the left or to the right? I should go to the left because in the end, left to right, just like how I read a sentence, since this is a negative slope, it needs to go downhill. Okay, if I start that y-intercept and go down 1, 2, I could also go over to the right, just as long as it still has that negative slope. Oops. And we got it. That is the first part of 3.4. Well, we'll finish that up tomorrow. I hope you have a fantastic day.